to another episode of Entertainment Involved. This is going to be an Involved review. We're covering Wrestlemania Night 1. As you know, pro wrestling was like the bread and butter that this very podcast was founded upon. I have with me tonight Brendon. Welcome to the show.
Hey.
And I have Ace. Welcome back to the show yet again.
Hey, man. Good to be back.
Yeah, man. So we just got done watching WrestleMania Night 1. We just went off and we came right back here to the studio to record this review for Night 1. Like I said, this is an Evolved review, and our item today is very fitting. This is the Evolved Review Championship that we have here on display. And I'll tell you a little bit of a story about that. Caleb Stovall, who is going to be joining me for our review of Night 2 tomorrow night, he and I actually got press passes to come and watch an early screening of the Booker T episode of the A&E WWE Superstars series that they did. Yeah, so we got to go to, it was like a drive-in theater, right? And they had this big like blow-up giant screen or whatever, and like they would bring snacks out to their car and everything, and they really like just rolled out the red carpet for us, man. Like we got all kind of like little like posters and programs and stuff, and they gave us this little replica championship. And yeah, it was a really cool event, and we got to see it like months before. So we got to see that before they even started airing the show, and it was like the 4th or 5th episode. So,
Oh shit, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's this is a amazing little trinket that's got a lot of history with the show
And hookups and knowing people and stuff like
Yeah, something like that. So yeah, I mean, I thought that what better night to bring out this item from the shelves that's very important to the history of the show here.
Very beautiful.
I just assumed you beat Stovall to become the champ.
No. But then he would have had to have it to begin with.
It could have been a vacated championship.
Oh, okay. We just had a fight in like a random parking lot.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, that might be a better story depending on what you're into, you know.
That's what happened.
But you know, speaking of like early access to things, all of us were recently treated to an early fan showing of the Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Yes.
This past Wednesday night. So Ace and myself will actually tomorrow we'll be going on the Tavern Notice Board to do a review of that. Not to spoil anything for that though. Just real quick before we get into this, what did you guys think like about the D&D movie?
I thought it was wonderful. Like I thought it was better than I thought originally that it was going to be.
Yeah, and we're all avid D&D players, so you know we don't have like a casual really view of this. But I think a casual person, I know people that don't play D&D at all, don't know anything about it, and they've seen it and thought it was really good.
Yeah, and you know it's such a fine line to balance because which master do you serve? The people who know and love D&D or the casual fan base? And I thought that the movie did a great job of serving both, which is a very rare thing to do. So, yeah, I mean, overall, I had a blast with the movie. I think most people have.
Yeah.
I think it's overperforming, actually.
I would have to agree with that, yeah. I think we get a sequel greenlit very soon.
Mm-hmm. It's serving both the hardcore and the casual, which is a very rare thing to be able to do.
And, you know, Marvel used to do that once upon a time.
You used to.
And now it's like neither.
Damn.
Now it's fuck you both. But anyway, we won't go down that. If you want to hear our full thoughts on the Dungeons & Dragons movie, check out Tavern Notice Board. That should be coming out sometime tomorrow. And if you want to hear people bitch about Marvel, I'm going on your show sometime next week to we're going to talk some comic news. So I'm
news.
Sure we'll complain about Phase 4 and now 5 at some point. But let's get into the reason why everybody's here. If you click on this episode, we're here to review WrestleMania Night 1. And I gotta say, overall, like, this was a great WrestleMania night.
Yeah, I fucking had a blast. Like, more than a long time. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, for me, it's been kind of tradition to expect WrestleMania or especially like the multiple nights WrestleMania to be very spotty in terms of my overall enjoyment. That's putting it lightly. But I got to be honest, overall, I thought that night 1 was really strong. Really strong.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I mean, there's definitely some weak spots on here, but they aren't necessarily where I thought that they would be. You know, when I look at this card, I don't, you know, originally having not seen it, there's certain things that were that exceeded my expectations, and certain things that didn't quite live up to them, and we'll go down it.
Yeah, there's definitely some surprises in there, like a lot.
Yeah, I would agree. So, what do you guys think about them opening the show with Cena and Theory?
Yeah, I think that if it were up to me, I probably would have put that second, and I probably put the second match first. But I do understand why they had John Cena and Austin Theory go on first. I thought that the match though was I thought it was fine. It didn't blow me away. I didn't think it was neither man's best match. I didn't think that. I don't think that they were going out there to try to tear the house down. And I mean, if we're being honest here, this opening match, a lot of it really just you can just skate by on the fact that John Cena is here.
Right.
And,
It's just a spectacle of him actually just being there.
Exactly. Yeah. The fact that John Cena is here is a big enough deal.
And he's working. Like,
Yeah.
Holy shit.
But most importantly, the right man won.
Well, and also there's some symbolism here too, because if you guys will recall, at his very first WrestleMania, he won the United States title in the opening match against Big Show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it's kind of it's kind of a full circle, kind of rite of passage type deal here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, obviously this was a passing of the torch to Austin Theory, which for the first time in a while, I feel like this is a deserving passing of the torch. I feel like this is a well-earned passing of a torch. It's not like just the booking team crowning the next guy.
Right.
This is the guy we want to be the next guy. I think that even the casuals that hate Austin Theory because he's doing a good job as a heel,
Mm-hmm.
I think respect the level of his work.
Yeah. I guess kind of like an odd comparison. Like it takes me back to, I guess, 15, 18 years ago. Back to when this wasn't at Mania. Well, I guess we can talk about like the Randy Orton era when he was coming up, and like kind of the things that he had to go through to become that guy. First he had to go through Mick Foley, and then that was an incredible match that he had, and then he went through the Undertaker. Didn't win the Mania match, but it was still an incredible match that really kind of showcased what he could do, and then he won on the rematch and so forth. But just kind of looking at how you kind of put through your paces when they really see something in you and when they really want to put some stock in you. I feel like that's kind of what they're trying to do now with Austin Theory. He's had a lot of roadblocks along the way, a lot of questionable booking. But I think that having him versus Cena for the U.S. title and having him go over, I think that was a very smart call.
Yeah, it just made the most sense to do.
Yeah.
Like, if you could just make up of... Sorry.
Words are hard.
Yes, words are hard. Use words. I'm sorry. It just made the most sense. I think he should have went over probably clean,
Mm-hmm.
but as a heel, it just made sense for him to go out the way he did.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, I could see them. I can see it both ways, right? I can see why you'd want to put Theory over clean on Cena and have this kind of upset, but I also can see where. There's probably Triple H or whoever is probably like, Cena could have another little run in him if he wanted. They're probably kind of holding out hope for that a little bit. It's almost like an Undertaker thing at this point, where it's like Cena's like, no, I'm done, and then like, well, who was it recently? It was Cody that was like, that apparently told Cena he wanted to have a match against him, and Cena was like, I can't promise that, but I think that there's too much money on the table with that match for them to leave it on the table, either man or the company.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and overall, like in terms of like the actual match quality, again, I think it was fine.
It was slow paced for an opener.
It was very slow for an opener.
It did what it needed to do, just kind of just open up the show and just kind of get people, a little bit going.
Yeah.
Didn't blow anybody's socks off and all that, but
oddly enough, I think that this is one of those cases where like a proper vignette to open up that show or that match would have really done this a lot of favor. Like if they could have put something together to help tell the story as to why this is happening.
Right.
We really didn't get a whole lot of that for this match, and I think it really could have used it, just to see why these two are angry, why these two are fighting each other. I mean, if you've seen like the Raw promos and whatnot, then you kind of know the story. But at the same time, I think that there was a lot of unspoken things that they could have said.
I agree with that. 100%. Yeah. I mean, even myself, who hasn't been watching, I've been seeing some of the promos online, and I'm like, they really didn't get into any of this. It was just they just kind of had a match. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Cena didn't have a lot of time to prep for this.
It's just like, you're like me, but not. And like, let's have a match. Like,
Yeah.
but everyone's saying that I'm like you, but
Yeah.
still have a match and do the thing.
And I don't really get
Okay.
that other than Theory being young and in great shape.
Yeah,
Right. Other
I
than
guess
that,
it's a similar kind of look, but
I
other
guess.
than that, it's just
I mean, the way they move and perform is completely different.
Yeah. In Theory's favor.
Yeah.
I would agree. I'm a little bit more of a on John Cena that is better than y'all like y'all's opinion, but I'm not a high on John Cena.
Right.
He's done serviceable.
It sounds like you're high on John Cena to me.
We sat through his reign, man.
Yeah.
We sat there month after month and
Right.
avidly watched the program and watched them put him over on everybody.
On everybody.
Just kinda
Yeah.
just bury.
I mean, Bray Wyatt is the worst casualty.
Yeah.
Oh
That,
yeah.
mm.
And truth be told, he never recovered from that.
No, he never recovered from it.
Yeah.
They had him wrestle 4 times, and Cena went over on him every single time.
Yeah.
And he's never recovered from it. It doesn't matter what they do with him. And then every time they do try to reinvent him, the booking is terrible. But that's another story. Let's go on to the next match.
Yes.
Let's talk the Fatal 4-Way. So we had the Viking Raiders versus Strowman and Ricochet versus the Alpha Academy versus the Street Profits. This to me came across on the booking sheet as this is just a way to get FaceTime for these guys on Mania. But I gotta admit, I thought that this match it exceeded my expectations. It wasn't a like a 5 stars, 6 stars in the Tokyo Dome type deal. But it was better than I thought it was going to, because I thought it was just going to be a clusterfuck with a random finish.
But
that didn't.
Kind of was a clusterfuck, but it was a clusterfuck of fun.
That's a great way to describe this match, honestly.
Yeah.
For me, anyway.
Yeah, I guess for me, like, whenever you get matches like this, I mean, a Fatal 4-Way tag team match, we already know it's not going to make sense. So
you get your shit in and get out.
It's going to be a spot fest. If you're looking for like an actual wrestling contest, you might want to go to the bathroom or go get something to eat. This was always going to be a spot fest, but it was a very entertaining spot fest.
Do you think Jim Cornette survived it?
I think he fast forwarded through it.
Yeah.
Poor Jim.
Very likely. Yeah. I don't know. I think he likes the Street Profits, so he may have watched some of it.
I think he partially likes not Angelo Dawkins, but the other one, Montez Ford. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with this match. It was obviously very entertaining, and just so many just builds up of just dumb, stupid spots for no reason at all. But hey, it was entertaining and it was there.
Yeah, I mean, I popped for that tower spot.
Yeah.
I was rolling my eyes when they were constructing it.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
It was for no reason at all. It didn't make sense at all, but why not, Why not?
And, like, if you guys thought it was aggravating when I was, making remarks about what the hell the referee's doing or not doing, then you mentioned Jim Cornette. He was having an aneurysm, I'm sure.
Someone needs to make a house call on him. He's still alive.
I mean, but, seeing Ricochet, just be able to show off more of his athleticism is always fun to see. But most importantly, this match popped the crowd.
Right.
Whereas I didn't think it was on paper.
I mean, really, if there's anybody that would be better off in the clusterfuck that is AEW right now, it probably is Ricochet. Because, he'd get more screen time than he's getting now, and he'd be doing the same things.
He'd be doing the same things. That's very true.
I mean, that's why his name's Ricochet.
Yeah.
That's what he do.
He's tremendous. I mean, don't get me wrong. I just wish that he got to show off more. They could be doing a lot more with him.
Yeah.
Like story chops and all.
Well, he's just criminally underused. I mean, just in general, he's just he's one of the best wrestlers alive. I think in the ropes. You know what I mean?
He is. There's kind of like this weird. I don't want to call it a curse, but there's kind of this weird thing in the WWE, especially. Whereas if you are too good at bumping and selling, then you become kind of stuck in that position of being the fall guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shawn was like one of the few people that overcame that.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes.
And even he did it for a long time.
Right.
Yeah. So.
I love Shawn and his overselling. Especially that Hogan match.
Oh,
yeah.
man. I remember. You remember when we watched that live?
Yes.
We were all losing our minds because like that was like right after we had started wrestling training. Right. So we knew that he was like just shitting all over Hogan.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, and it was incredible.
There was this whole, like, you find out later, there's this whole thing about Hogan always wanting to go over, and
but
like,
here's the crazy thing. You'll never guess what happened. They're supposed to have a rematch where Shawn went over. That match never happened.
Yeah, imagine that.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Craziest thing, right?
What?
Yeah.
You don't say.
I just realized that I'm off brand on my own show. We got a New Day NWO show here. We got a Title Belt Pro shirt over here, which they had a show tonight. I hope it went fantastic, guys.
It could be a Sheamus shirt.
It could, but this is a Sire shirt, which is a Celtic rock band. So
Sheamus adjacent.
if Sheamus came out to Sire, I would like him 1% more than I like him now. So 1% total.
Poor Sheamus.
But I would pop for it.
That,
I will
go along with my poor opinions. Apparently, I'm a Sheamus mark.
Awesome. Well, anyway, you can catch that match tomorrow. And fortunately, you will not be here when we review that.
No. Fortunately.
So, yeah.
Damn.
Moving on.
Damn.
Up next, we had Logan Paul versus Seth Rollins. And guys, I got to admit, this was weirder than I anticipated.
Yeah.
Has Seth Rollins gone off the... Has he just gone off the reservation?
Oh, I don't think he was ever on it.
But this was weirder than normal Seth Rollins, right? Like,
you mean in terms of his entrance, or
just all the whole thing? Has Seth Rollins in his head become this like larger than life wrestling star when in fact he's just an upper mid card guy that they put the title on when they don't have anybody else to stick it on?
I think in his mind, because I do agree with that statement, but I think in Seth's mind, he comes across as him viewing that status as bigger than it is.
Right.
Like, if they need someone to put the strap on, it's probably going to be him if they're in a clutch. And he views that as like, I mean, it is a big deal, but he views it as like this grand thing. But, you know, in terms of this match, I felt that like, I felt that Seth, or maybe the agents who put this match together, this would be great for an up and comer who had been in like the NXT program or an actual training program, who actually knows the basics more. But that person isn't Logan Paul. Logan Paul, I think, is really great in the position that they put him in. But in his previous matches, Logan Paul was protected in the sense that we only see his strengths, which is good.
Right.
But this match didn't really showcase his strengths. They tried to do a lot of the technical stuff that we see, from other wrestlers, and I'm like, that's not really this guy's forte. And yeah.
No, definitely not. Yeah, there was definitely a lot of malarkey and shenanigans happening in this match, and was just like, all right, well, why?
Well, see, I know that Logan Paul is your favorite online celebrity.
Yes.
Yeah.
I adore this man so much.
Wow. Yeah, I never knew that about you. That's not cool.
I'm his number one fan.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Logan Paul as well. So,
yes.
Yeah.
I didn't think the match was bad.
No.
I expected more from this one.
I feel like, and this is just me speculating, right? I say that like everything else that I've said isn't. But this is just me speculating that I feel like this is Logan Paul's last match on his contract.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like rather than doing another Let's Play to Logan's Strengths match where like on the internet tomorrow, all that everyone's talking about is how fucking great Logan Paul is, they wrestled a Seth Rollins match. This match played to Seth's strengths instead. And so, yeah, I mean, that shit works. If you're looking at it from purely a contract negotiation standpoint.
You think it was a business move?
Yeah, I
so
do.
He
Tomorrow, everybody's not going to be sitting here talking about Logan Paul's the best guy ever. So he's not going to come to the table with,
mean,
okay, I want double what the last contract was.
he still had his spots. I'll give him this. He's athletically gifted, and he had his spots. Not normal as much as he normally does.
Oh, he's by far the best like celebrity person.
Okay.
But he doesn't have that status. I mean, he's still a celebrity, but he's under fucking contract at WWE. He's on the roster at this point in time. Limited dates, but I mean, shit, Brock Lesnar worked limited dates. You know, like, and Brock can have a match with Seth Rollins. You know what I mean? So I think that this match, whether they intended to it or not, it showed the holes. It showed the weaknesses for Logan. It did expose him to an extent. Not to an extent where I think like the casuals, like it ruins into the casual fan base. But I think that it did expose the cracks. So the narrative now is not like Logan Paul, this crazy like wonderkind, you know, just naturally can go out and have a 5-star match.
He's not untouchable.
Right. It's like, okay, well, you know, you are not on Seth Rollins' level when it comes to the pro wrestling world as far as like having a match belt to belt. And he's not.
I hope that wasn't done intentionally, because I think that damaging your brand, even if it is for a business standpoint, is just not a good idea.
I don't know that
let's have a lesser match than what we could, because Seth can work his style of match, obviously, but Seth, I mean, I got to give it to him. He can also work most styles of matches that he needs to get a good match across.
I agree. As somebody who's not a Seth Rollins fan, I agree.
And which is why I thought that was brilliant to put Seth with Logan in this match. But it does kind of remind me a little bit of like Ronda Rousey. Like you compare her second run to her first run, and it's like her first run, you know, like if you have a keen eye, you can tell that, okay, she isn't very good, but the way that she was booked really protected her.
Right.
She looked strong. She looked competent.
She was a spectacle.
She was a spectacle, and she looked like an absolute ass kicker.
Yeah,
and
she is.
Yeah, and she is, and they did a very good job of protecting her, making her look strong. Her second run wasn't as strong. I mean, look at where she is on the card this year compared to where she was in years prior.
I didn't know she had a match.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, she's kind of just thrown there with the mix of the fold there, and just kind of.
I have not sat down and watched. This is the first time I've sat down and watched WWE in ages. I mean, it may have been since Mania last year. I couldn't tell you, to be honest. Yeah, it's been a long time. I may have watched SummerSlam like with some friends. Like I think I got invited maybe to SummerSlam or something like that. One of those. But yeah, I mean, it's been a long time. I just don't watch that much wrestling anymore.
Right.
So, you know.
Fair.
But yeah, I mean, coming in blind, I would say that. You know, I don't think this hurt Logan's brand, but I also, you know, every time we've seen him previously, I do think that the narrative has been that he's just this way ahead of his time, just knocked it out of the park. And yeah, I do think that maybe there may have been a little bit of business move here. I don't know. It could have been Logan in the back saying, hey, I want to wrestle your style match. Like, this is my last one on my contract anyway. I want to see if I can hang with you. It could have been that sort of thing.
You think Logan Paul's actually capable of doing something decent?
I don't have any opinion on Logan Paul other than what I've seen on WWE. You, however, apparently have watched countless hours of this man on the internet and come to the conclusion that he's a real piece of shit, Morty.
I don't know him personally, but just...
Well, moving on.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Do you guys... So you guys agree with the finish, right? That Seth should have been the one to go over.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No question.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if this is good, if this is it for Logan.
Right.
And I will say, if this is Logan's last match, he had a great run.
Oh, yeah.
I mean... I think he lost almost all his matches, but he had an incredible run.
Yeah, he won like one or maybe two.
Yeah,
I mean, he had a match at WrestleMania. Like, how much more? Like, yeah, you lost, but how much more could you ask for?
And I mean, and he had a great match with Roman, which most people haven't done. And it was main event of one of the
Saudi
Royal
the
Crown Jewel,
Crown Desert Rose Jewel Mania 71.
One of those green paper events.
Yeah. Give us your money, Saudi government, 75.
Yeah.
Extravaganza.
That's the one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, one of those.
Okay, so you guys know my sticking point on this. We had Damage Control, which is Bailey, Io Sky, and Dakota Kai, which is why?
It's just like Kai and Ty, but instead Kai and Sky.
Yeah. They actually should call them that.
Right.
They should call them Pie in the Sky.
No, that doesn't actually make any sense, but thanks, though. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for.
And then they were up against Trish, Lita, and Becky Lynch. And Becky Lynch said,
I knew this was going to come up.
said in this that legends like us. Do you think she was talking to Bailey here and maybe meant like legends like us, like maybe like you and I will be in the Hall of Fame one day? Like surely she wasn't putting herself in this on the same like she was not putting herself on the same shelf with Trish and Lita.
You know, this is just weird, right? Because that line I think works perfectly if you're an out of touch heel.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
I think it works
exactly.
perfectly then.
Yeah.
You know, because
Well,
you're delusional and you think, yeah, I'm with these guys. I'm clearly just like them.
Yeah, you can have Trish and Lita be like,
Yeah.
you know, but that didn't happen here.
Yeah.
Like, it was just played seriously.
Yeah. It's like she had some kind of delusional breakdown. Like, oh, I'm on the same level as these Hall of Famers. Like, no, I'm gonna need you to
Yeah, let's tone
bring
down
it
a
down.
little bit.
You're up here. I'm gonna need you to bring it down there a little bit.
I've never been a Becky Lynch fan. I'm just going to go ahead and put that out there.
Really?
But like, objectively, like, I do think that she used to be good. I think she had maybe like a 4 to 6 month period where she was like really on fire. And I don't know if if it was where she got pregnant or if it was when she got injured. But like when she came back, she never has been on the level again that she was at. I mean, she was like one of the hottest stars in the company for a little while. And I never got it. I understood the hype and I understood why people were rallying behind her because like she was doing everything really well. They were booking her well. Like everything was just everything was kind of coming together for her at that point.
I don't know, that squash match when she first came back, what was that, 2 WrestleManias ago, up against Bianca. I'm not even the most huge Bianca fan. I don't think that was the right move at the time.
Yeah, where they had Bianca go over on her? Or they had her go over
No,
No,
they
they had her
had-
go over on Bianca.
Yeah,
like
she
when
came
that-
back out of nowhere.
And she just squashed her.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
yeah.
my brain is probably like deleted that.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
It
It's
sounds
just like,
awful.
it's
I'm
some
sitting here,
trauma
I
that's
was
just
like,
kinda,
I was like, Bianca came out of nowhere and squashed Becky Lynch. That sounds like something I would remember. That sounds amazing. But then to be told that it was the other way around, I'm like, oh, well, there's a reason I really
Well,
Yeah.
And again, the weird part about that, if I remember correctly, Becky was a face, and she came out, you know, the next night on Raw and played it like a face. And I'm like, if you're gonna do anything like this, you need to be a heel.
Yeah.
But you know, I like Becky, you know, a bit more than you. But I do agree that it does seem like maybe the baby took her superpowers. I don't know.
just sapped the life
Yeah,
out of her.
just sapped all the Becky essence.
And that's why she looks like she does.
But you know, I think that while she did have this period where she was white hot, I remember that you know, specifically when she first started doing like the man gimmick. But somewhere along the line, I think mostly to do with the bad booking, but also with her time off, it's like the competition kind of passed her by, and you know, in a business like pro wrestling, it's hard to catch up. And, you know, that's why a lot of people hate injuries, obviously because they're hurt, but also because people in moments pass you by, and I feel like Becky never really caught up. But, I mean, I guess enough about that. What do you guys think of the match here?
Honestly, I gotta say, this match was not terrible, but it's if I looked at this card and was like, honest with myself, this is a weak spot on this card. It really is. There was a couple botches in it.
As much as I love Trish and Lita, you know, yeah, it definitely was it was just kind of all over the place and kind of awkward as well.
Here's the thing, right? In terms of like actual ring rate, your returning legends aren't going to be the ones to put on that clinic.
Right.
It's going to be up to the current younger talent to do that. And while there are exceptions, that's the general rule. And unfortunately, the talent in this match, while no one seemed bad, and no one seemed like they're not one of the wrestlers on the roster who you're like, why are you even hired here?
Right. No.
Yeah. But nothing about this match screamed to me, this is WrestleMania worthy.
I agree. Yeah.
Exactly. That's what it wasn't bad. It's just like as far as especially with WrestleMania and the rest of the card goes, it unfortunately just gets lost in the shuffle and is probably going to be forgotten. Other than just with Lita and Trish being in it.
Yeah, I mean, this was a popcorn match. This was a go to concessions match. You went to the bathroom. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, like it wasn't intentional, but I had to go.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. This was not terrible. There were definitely. This is definitely not in like the bottom 50 WrestleMania matches of all time,
No.
but it just wasn't anything special. So, however, this match was Rey Mysterio versus Dominic Mysterio. I gotta say, I'm not a fan of Dominic at all, but the build up to this match, as well as the entrances, which were tremendous. I mean, I think they may have been my favorite entrances of the night by far. I think that this match over delivered and did some great storytelling.
Yeah, first of all, don't ever insult Prison Dom. All right, he might come for you. You never know.
That's okay.
He come for that ass.
I don't think he was the one pushing.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Man, I really enjoyed this match. I didn't expect a whole lot from it, but I mean, Rey Mysterio is having an amazing weekend. Just got inducted into the Hall of Fame, and wrestled his son at WrestleMania. And if I'm honest, they put on a very solid match. I mean, more than solid. It was a really good match.
Yeah.
It was definitely surprising, to say the least.
Yeah, I have to agree. I posted it on the socials, like, during Dominic's entrance. I was like, this is the only time I've ever enjoyed Dominic being on my screen.
Right?
And I did. Like, it was a great entrance. Here's the thing about Dominic's little, like, especially the whole prison Dominic thing. Mm-hmm. Yes, it is ridiculous, but, like...
They know it's ridiculous.
He knows it's ridiculous.
And he's playing it up like he should.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's... And I gotta say, it almost kind of reminds me, and I can't believe it's coming out of my mouth, but it's true. It reminds me of like when Eddie first came into the company, and they would just give him shit to do, and then he would just make the most of it. And it's kind of like that. I mean, like they did the whole thing where like he was in love with China or whatever,
right.
And then you couldn't take your eyes off it. You were just like. It was almost like.
Do you foresee them trying to do an angle similar to that with him and Rhea, where they?
I mean, they
work
kind of
down
already are. I mean, they're marketing back
but
to
they,
it.
But they had they culminated with a match between Eddie and China.
Yeah. I hope not.
Yeah.
I hope not. Rhea's better than that.
Was that for the IC title? When she got the IC title?
Well, she won that from Jarrett.
I think this was for the, if I'm not mistaken, this is for the old TV title.
No,
not TV title. European title.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Okay, yeah, it might have been.
European
Yeah.
That's right.
That used to be a thing.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
A little redundant, but yeah.
Yeah.
McIntyre really wants the title back. And
well, he's gonna have to go to title match.
Yeah.
I don't think.
All right.
But yeah, this to me, this over delivered. I mean, I thought it was good. I thought the finish was good. I don't know, the whole thing, the storytelling, like the kind of involvement from his family. I'm normally not really into that sort of thing, but it all just like kind of came together, and I think it worked.
Yeah, agreed. So. And like you said, also the entrances were great.
Yeah.
The Dom's was so over the top and cheesy, and I just love how they just lean into the prison Dom thing. Like I said, when we were watching it, I'm like, even in kayfabe world, he was only in jail for like 12 hours, and now he's prison Dom, who's done hard time. And
now he's back in the patio for some reason. Like, what happened?
And Mysterio's entrance, I mean,
stellar.
Just like that was top notch.
Yeah.
Especially with Snoop.
Snoop driving in the ring in the low ride.
I don't think it could have been any better.
And nothing but a G thing.
Then playing Eddie's music.
Yeah, then Eddie's music.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Too good.
And his attire. The whole, I guess it was a Muda kind of tribute, homage. Yeah. And everything about it was just...
Yeah. Do you guys think he retires? Do you think this is it?
Oh, man, if he does, this is a great note to do it on. But I can see Ray wanting to retire, putting his son over.
Oh, yeah. Maybe have another match later.
Which I'm surprised didn't happen.
No, I think that for this, because like WrestleMania, it's about the stories, but it's also very much so about the moments.
Yeah.
And I think that this was a moment that Ray needed.
Yeah, and this needed to happen. I mean, it was a good payoff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good payoffs tonight. And that's kind of something where in the later Vince booking years, Mania always used to be all these great payoffs. And then it kind of became where, like, Mania was all these great payoffs, and you would leave watching Mania, like, not really feeling good about it. Yeah.
I remember a lot of Manias just feeling just, Brock won in the end, yay.
Yeah, nobody like, exactly.
Yeah.
So, speaking of entrances, we missed this earlier. Logan Paul's entrance. Wildly inappropriate, yes? No? I felt sick watching it.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember what you're talking about now. Okay.
Yeah, he came down. They strapped him into whatever this rig was and hoisted him up, and he's like kind of like, zip lining down or whatever. And
So I will say this because I know what we're thinking. It was more HBK than Owen.
I think that's where they were going with it, but it's still just the whole.
But the HBK thing happened before the Owen thing happened.
It did.
Yeah.
Which is why it was more HBK.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, he wasn't that high off the ground, so
if he had fallen and missed the side of that ramp, he would have died, or been probably hoped he was dead.
So we've seen Dark Side of the Ring, and we kind of know the shenanigans that Logan hasn't. But here's what I will say though is that I think that Triple H is willing to shell out the proper money for a good rigging crew to make sure that everything is safe.
I agree. It's just, from my standpoint, I'm like, if I'm Logan Paul, I'm like, I don't trust these motherfuckers to do this.
Right.
Never.
Send somebody else down. I want to see 7 other people test this thing first.
Yeah, like I want them to put Otis in it. And
that's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been, 30 years?
Not quite, but
not quite
but
that, but
close.
It would have been 24 years, right? I thought it happened in 99.
I I thought it was 96, sorry.
Yeah, so, I mean, either way, but, I mean, it's like, you're not going to, it's been a long time since, Jared from Subway got in trouble. You're not going to leave your kids with him. Like,
that's fair enough.
That's a hell of a comparison.
Yeah, that's a little bit of a term, but yeah, why not?
Yeah,
I mean, it works.
It does work, yeah. Nobody even died in that scenario.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people wish they were.
Yeah, but anyway, moving on. Speaking of wishing you were dead, we got to see Charlotte Flair next.
Oh, she looked like she was dead.
We had the SmackDown Women's title match, and I was happy to see this go on because it meant that the match that should have been the main was going to be the main.
Yes.
I feel multiple ways about this match. Number one, most physical match on the card, absolutely. I think that it looked like a real contest, which is something I'm always like on and on about. Like, did it look like a wrestling contest? Really big on that. Like, want it to be a wrestling contest and look like somebody's actually trying to win the match. From that standpoint, tremendous. Pretty close to being the match of the night. I mean, incredible. I've been over Charlotte for a long time, and I think that now, given the fact that she's supposed to be the face here and she was overwhelmingly booed by this audience, I think that even the casuals are coming around on it now.
Yeah, I just have to get this out of the way. The hashtag Mommy Mania.
Oh my God, I saw that. I saw that going around the internet.
So for me,
you would agree.
For me, this is definitely the match of the night.
Okay.
I mean, I know that stories are important, but I'm a guy who's always all about the in ring work and letting that be the story. And and I mean, this ring work was, I think, hands down the best tonight. I mean, in terms of like ring rate and like bell to bell work, no one's coming close to these two ladies tonight.
No. It was tremendous. I wanna argue with you, but I can't. Like I want to disagree with you, but I can't. Like there were even some botches in this match from a standpoint of like where it looked like one of the other people took the move really badly. I mean, there's one of those where Charlotte landed on her
face, yeah,
not her head. She landed on her face, like the full brunt of her body weight landed on her face. Like
it looked painful.
It was bad, and that transition where from the riptide
to the DDT
was one of the smoothest things I've ever seen Period.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
As much as I don't want to give her credit because I'm not really the biggest Charlotte fan, that was
Right.
impressive.
where it's due. I mean, I'd be hard pressed to find a transition that smooth anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
That doesn't look like a planned choreographed spot.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
It
you
was
would
quick and fast. Like,
agreed. I mean, you would need like AJ Styles and like Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You would need I mean, that was a top tier thing, and I don't want to. I'm not like a moves guy. Like, I don't want to sit here and harp on this one thing, but it was just
There's
it was a
nothing wrong with
tremendous
appreciating
counter.
Oh yeah.
No, I mean, there's nothing wrong with it, but I mean, it's got to be about the storytelling. It's got to be about the psychology of it. To me, like, just two people doing moves to each other is never going to do anything for me. And this match was not that at all. This match had all of it. It told a story. It was a passing of a torch, and it was also, it was a very physical contest with some great athleticism. I think maybe if I had any complaints about it, maybe it went a tad long, but it was a title match at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and they had the fans the entire time.
I agree.
Yeah, like if they had lost the fans, then you're right. The match could have been a tad bit shorter. I would really agree with that if they had ever lost the audience, but I don't think they did.
the funny thing about it is I don't think they had the fans that they originally wanted to have the fans. It doesn't matter what Rhea does, they're gonna like her. Like, she was supposed to be the heel in this. They're gonna love her.
And that's fine.
Yeah, that's
fine,
very
yeah.
fine. I get it.
I think any reaction, like as long as they're reacting,
Mhm.
it's a good reaction.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, maybe with a couple exceptions. Like, I remember when they had
Vince disagrees, sir.
they had the ECW pay per view in Augusta because they didn't want to do it in Philly because they thought the crowd would be tame, and then in the first match the crowd chanted "She's a crack whore." As a matter of fact, the chants were so obnoxious that when they appeared on the DVD, they actually edited a bunch of them out.
Yeah.
So I mean, this whole deal, like with them piping in crowd noise and stuff, like it was evident tonight when they had to do it. When they did it for Seth, it was super obvious, and disgusting.
Yeah.
But they didn't have to do it for this match, and they didn't have to do it for most of these matches. And
Yeah.
the few times they did do it during this, it was really obvious that they did it. But the Seth was the most egregious of
Yeah.
all.
Yeah, I want to say, like, I don't know if that's supposed to be crowd noise or just part of his entrance that he did.
No, they meant it to be the crowd. I mean,
Oh.
even if they didn't, they were leading the crowd with it, which is the same thing.
Fair enough. Yeah.
But they were like, you could hear the audience come in faintly, and then you heard the piped in version hit.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I called it right here on this very program.
Yeah.
The very first time that they piped in the crowd noise, I said they will never stop doing it, even when fans come back. This is Vince's like wet dream,
Right.
where like, oh, now I can even decide what the audience reaction is to this.
Right.
I can make their reaction what I want.
Unfortunately.
And that's what he's been doing.
Yeah. So
Well, you'd think Triple H would be kind of a counter to that.
well, Triple H has scaled it down.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like this, it's not like I don't think that Triple H really, at least from what I've been able to observe, I don't think he uses it to manipulate how the audience feels.
Right.
I don't really like it at all. But if you're gonna use it, then I mean, if you're gonna use it for somebody's entrance, then I don't really give a shit too much.
Yeah.
Right.
It's fluff.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. We had a kind of surprise match here with The Miz versus Pat McAfee. Now, I'm a huge Pat McAfee fan.
Mm-hmm.
I could have lived without this. If Pat McAfee was going to be in the building, put him on the damn commentary.
Yeah.
Because the commentary tonight was, let's be honest, all night it was weak.
It was funny seeing Cole's pop for McAfee though.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
That was entertaining. I don't know if in the right way, but it was entertaining to see him act like a child.
No, it was tremendous, and I rarely think Michael Cole is tremendous. Ever. In his entire career, I've very rarely thought that he was anything even equal to or above mediocre. So, unless he was sitting next to Pat McAfee at the desk.
He's no JR, but I don't think he could ever be JR.
And that's what I was gonna say is that we grew up in the JR generation, and it's weird to think that there is a generation of wrestling fans younger than us who really aren't that familiar with his work back in like the 90s and 2000s on WWE TV.
Best to ever do it.
Best to ever do it. I mean, because he made you feel.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I mean, he absolutely sold the stories in the ring, whereas I haven't really seen too many commentators be able to do that.
What was the guy that was on NXT for a while?
Mauro Ranallo.
Ronaldo.
Yeah.
He was tremendous.
He was.
I hate
He
that he
was.
didn't stick with it because, to me, he was the next Jim Ross. I
Yeah.
mean, he was right there, you know.
Yeah.
In like, I honestly think that's one of the. It's not the defining reason, but it's one of the major reasons why NXT like had that such great golden era.
Mhm.
Everything just lined up. The booking was amazing. The stars that were coming through that were incredible. It was such a contradiction to the main product, which was
Right.
arguably at its worst. And then you had Mauro on commentary, and it just made you. It had a different level of excitement
Mm-hmm.
to where they were having Takeover on Friday, and then they'd have like the Mania over the weekend, and like Takeover would just destroy everything,
Right.
You know, and it would happen all the time. Like SummerSlam, Takeover would be like Saturday night; it would be a way better show. SummerSlam would be on Sunday, you'd leave pissed.
I mean, not to derail us, but yeah, there was like a legit 4-year golden age of like NXT, or like when they were they were the reason to watch like the WWE product.
Yeah, when you had like
Yeah.
Sasha and Bailey, the ladder match.
Yeah.
Like from 14 to maybe like 18.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Sami Zayn Nakamura.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Zayn,
that
yeah.
match to this day holds up. You go back and watch it, you still get chills.
Oh, yeah.
I mean the
Tremendous.
way the crowd reacted to that was
Mm-hmm.
on a different level than we've ever seen. I mean, yeah, we could go off about
I mean,
the golden
yeah.
age NXT.
The Revival versus DIY, DYI, or whatever. They
Yeah,
were. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really, that whole honestly, the whole feud between Gargano and
And Ciampa.
Ciampa,
Yeah.
incredible, yeah. That whole thing.
I
mean, there was
unfortunately
so
didn't
much.
get to see that. I stopped
Oh,
watching NXT like right before that.
There was that point in time where NXT to me was the best wrestling program.
Oh yeah.
On television, hands down, bar none. And this was like AEW didn't even exist. It's easy now to like just take AEW being there for granted, and I shit on it a lot. But like there was a time where WWE was the only thing on television, and it was awful because they had nothing to compete with.
That's why AEW was created. Like,
It's true.
To an extent.
Yeah.
Just to give some kind of alternative.
That's true.
Yeah.
Also, there's the whole fact of it's a trust fund project and they don't have to make any money. But that's a different story for another time. But yeah, Pat McAfee versus The Miz, I could have done without this. I think it was a cool down to get people, between the women's title match and the main.
That's what it was. And I mean, to a degree, cool downs are necessary, but at the same time, this was completely unnecessary. I do like Pat McAfee. I really liked the match he had with Adam Cole a few years ago. He worked Vince last year, actually, didn't he?
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
And now here he is working The Miz. At least he beat The Miz, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really don't have anything to say about this.
I mean, it was entertaining enough. As far as one thing I was surprised is like hasn't been. I don't know if they're for night 2. There hasn't been really any celebrity involvement with this year's WrestleMania.
Yeah, I thought Austin would come out here. Honestly.
Austin, I did think would come out. Like as far as like actual celebrity, like usually they have something going on.
I mean, we got Snoop, yeah.
And Logan was on the show, so I guess maybe
Logan
that's
on the show.
Yeah, that's fair.
KSI was the prime mascot.
Celebrity.
These guys haven't told me who that was.
Yeah.
I was like,
I barely know.
Like the little thing came off, and they were like, "That's KSI." And I was like, "Okay, elaborate."
It's his internet friend.
Yeah.
His internet friend.
But yeah, I mean, I think that this, like I said, I think if you got Pat McAfee in the building, put him on commentary.
Oh yeah.
He's a treasure. He's a national treasure, and he needs to be protected.
I agree. Yeah. So let's get to it here. There's a lot of discussion coming up into this, like what was going to be the main event tonight, because a lot of the promotional materials made it look like Cena in theory was going to be the main, but they'd already said that was going to go on first. So there was just a lot of I don't want to say controversy, but confusion more about what was going to be the main tonight. So we kind of every time a match would come up, be like, well, it's not going to be that, it's not going to be that. And then when the women's title match came on, we were like, it's going to be what we all said really should be the main event. And this was the first time ever that the tag team titles have been defended in the main event at WrestleMania, which was incredible. After 39 Manias, and I think this is the third time they've done the 2-night Mania.
Is it just the third?
I think it's just been going on for about
God.
4 or 5 years.
It
now.
feels like it's been going on forever.
Because it would have been the first time they came back from the pandemic with fans. So that would have been 21.
They
20 would have been the no fans, right?
I thought they were doing it before the pandemic.
No, it started after the pandemic.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. They did do it for the Pandemic Mania. That was held in the Performance Center.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
Okay, so then this would be the fourth time. So in that case, that means we have, what is that, 39? So then an extra 4. So we have 43 WrestleMania main events.
Yeah.
And that means that it's 43 for their or 42 because it's tomorrow night. That's 42. Mania main events before we got the tag belts in the main, and
which is weird because the first Mania
was a tag
match.
Yeah, for the Mania. Yeah. So I thought if there was anybody that was going to do it, it was this. Mm-hmm. Honestly, this is the best storyline that I've seen WWE come up with probably since I've been an adult.
Yeah, by far.
Which has been a unfortunately long time. This. So what did you guys think about this?
Man, so this is one of those cases, right, where they already have the fans all the way up here, and all you need to do is just deliver and get the finish right. Mm-hmm. And that's all they needed to do, and they did that. And the fans popped incredibly loud. I thought that this match was. It's hard to look at this match as a microcosm. Like I have to look at this match with the whole bloodline story included, and the video package was great for that also. And with that, I thought that the match was great. In terms of like the actual bell to bell work, I've seen the Usos do a lot better. I've seen Kevin and Sammy, do a lot better. My God, if I never seen another goddamn super kick.
There were a lot of them in this match.
If we took a shot every time there was a super kick.
Oh God.
We wouldn't be doing this review right now.
We wouldn't. And we had a few shots.
Yeah.
I'm definitely feeling them.
You would have ended up like me a few weeks ago.
Oh man, I would hope not.
Yeah, it was. If you took a shot with every super kick,
that's true.
Double super kicks. That's 2 shots.
Yeah, that's 2 shots.
I probably just passed out. Well, actually, we would have ran out of tequila.
That's true. That's
that's saying something.
Yeah,
we would have just ran out. Yeah, we had a bunch, just for the record.
Right.
Yeah.
I give the Young Bucks and other people shit about it. I have to give the Usos shit about it too, and I like the Usos, but. This whole thing of the super kick going from a finish to a hot spot to a transition move.
Poor Sean.
I'm
guessing he's used to it by now. But still.
But the move is useless. Like I don't know what a super kick means anymore.
Right.
And especially the fact that they just did it over and over and over and over again, and I'm like, why are you doing this? Obviously, you can't pin anybody with it. But that aside, I thought that the story being told in the ring was really strong, and I love the emotion that everybody showed. And I was fine with us not seeing a J turn. I probably would have been fine if we did see a J turn, but if they don't want to do it, that's fine with me too. But overall, this was the right match to end the show with.
Any of the turns would have been shenanigans, right, to an extent. Because it would have been like, okay, well, we kind of established, whose side everybody was on before now. And then it's like this whole kind of deep cover, I just sided with them.
Triple Agent.
Yeah, it was the right call to play it straight, I think.
If there was any turns to be had, I would say Jay's would have made kind of the most sense.
Jimmy turns on Jay and joins.
I think it would have had to have been a thing where they got Sammy bloody, and maybe Jimmy's like telling him to bash his head in with like a chair or something. It would have had to been something like that, something really extreme, to where Jay's like, "Are we the bad guys?" Type
Right.
deal. I could have taken it or leaving it in that point, but at this point, I think this was the right way to go. I think the finish here was so emotional.
Mm-hmm.
It told such a story, and like Sammy delivering that last boot, man, like that, just the emotion behind that and the way that the crowd reacted. I mean, how could we possibly say that they did it wrong, even if we felt that way? When, what did they say, 74,000, whatever? You can't trust wrestling promoters.
Right, yeah. 80,000.
I think they said 80 up in the
Yeah, sure, 180,000 people still on their feet.
Million trillion.
Yeah. I mean, the pop was for the whole stadium. I mean, everybody was on their feet for this. It was absolutely the right call, and I think it was a great payoff to a storyline that they put clearly so much work into, and like all the people involved have done such a great job with.
I mean, it's been like a year in development.
It's been, well, if you count the feud with Roman and Jay, that started, I want to say, in 21. So if you count that, it's been going on for like 2 years almost.
Yeah.
And like that, and that's the thing, right? Because again, under Vince booking, this storyline doesn't get played out nearly as long, and it doesn't have nearly as satisfying a conclusion.
Right.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
No.
And it doesn't have Kevin Owens winning in any way.
Oh, absolutely. It doesn't have Sami Zayn. Like, as a matter of fact, like when Sami Zayn was getting like that kind of Daniel Bryan WrestleMania 30 era pop from the crowd, Vince would have drowned that shit out immediately.
That's the crowd who was in for whoever his opponent is. He's wrestling Dominic Mysterio. Whatever, I don't care.
Well, shit.
And that's what he would have been doing.
Oh, yeah.
He would have been wrestling Dominic and putting him over.
I would like to see some kind of Vince Russo shenanigans that we could have gotten. Kevin Owens joins the Bloodline, turns on Sammy.
Well, Dynamite comes on Wednesdays, dog. If you're trying to see some of that.
Fair enough.
Oh,
shit. Sure.
All right, let's rate this thing, and then we'll get the fuck out of here, because I don't know what time it is, but I know it's late. Because like Mania ended at like midnight.
Yeah.
So
it's like lunchtime for me.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm kind of a nerd.
It is. I mean, if it is noon, then 12. It's lunchtime.
Yeah.
So Brendon, man, I'm gonna let you go first here, since you're like the rookie on the podcast. It's on your second appearance.
Yeah.
What are you rating this one out of 10, man, for night one of WrestleMania 39?
I'm leaning towards 8.5 as far as everything goes. Like everything kind of in a nutshell. It was really solid for me. Like a lot more solid than WrestleMania has been in a good long time.
I would agree with that wholeheartedly, yeah.
Like, I didn't even catch... The only thing I watched last year was the Kevin Owens and Stone Cold match.
Which was tremendous.
It was tremendous, and that made it... That was enough for me, and I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the Mania where Sasha and Bianca had their Mania.
Oh, yeah.
That match was one of the greatest matches. I mean, it was tremendous. Absolutely stellar match. But, like, I can't tell you anything else that happened that night. So
no.
Yeah, so I agree. Ace, what do you got, man?
I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I agree with Brendon. I give this an 8. I didn't want to have to do this, agree with Brendon, but yeah, I give this match. I mean, I give this night one an 8. I mean, which is, I mean, I think especially for recent WrestleMania, track records, I think that's a great score.
It is. Yeah.
I mean, because like some of these matches are okay to good, but there's very few just ass matches on here.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. There was no terrible matches that are like, why did they even bother? Like, no.
Right.
When there's been some WrestleManias that are like, why? What were you thinking?
There's literally a WrestleMania match where a bunch of dogs like shit at ringside. So it was the dog kennel match that they had with Undertaker. Yeah.
And who?
I forget who it was against.
Oh, my gosh.
It'll come back to me, but
I vaguely remember what you're talking about.
It was basically a cage match, but they had a bunch of like dogs around the ring.
Was it?
Where it was like the dogs.
Big Boss Man.
Yes, it was Big Boss
Were
Man.
they hung
Big
his
Boss Man
ass?
got hung.
Yeah, and it was like
I forgot there was dogs.
Yeah, they did the whole thing where it was like it was a dog kennel match, and if you escaped, then like the dogs would eat you or whatever. And so like there were literally like some of the dogs like shit on the floor during the match. Like,
man, I forgot about that part of that match.
Those
I
must have
remember
been
them just killing Boss Man.
Those must have been Resident Evil dogs or something.
I don't know, man.
We found these dogs and injected them with the T virus.
And they just
If
licking
you
their
just-
balls.
yeah.
And
I do have to say this though. I mean, as good as night 1 is, I am a little concerned for night 2
I was
because
just going to ask, what are y'all's predictions?
when I was thinking about it, I was like, there's really only like 2 matches, three matches. No, there's 3. There's 3 matches that I want to see tomorrow night. But other than that, whatever other matches they have, I can probably do without.
We'll get into some predictions in a second, for sure. I'm gonna agree with you guys. I'm not just trying to go with the crowd here, but I'm gonna go with an 8 as well. Actually, fuck y'all. I'm gonna go with an 8.25.
Oh, you got prices right us. Okay.
I wouldn't know specifically where that 2.5 comes from.
That 2.5.
What match?
That
What match?
2.25 comes from the fact that the main event was the right match, and it comes from the fact that the Fatal 4-Way was not terrible like I thought it was gonna be.
That's fair.
And honestly, I mean, the worst match on here is the Damage Control versus, like the 6-man. It was, I mean, this match, if you take this match off the card, it goes up to like an 8.5 easy, maybe a 8.75, something like that.
So you think the McAfee match and Miz match is better than the 6-man?
Not
6-woman, sorry.
That match is what it is, right? Like they literally just did it to bridge some time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like this 6-woman match had a build up.
It was like a marquee match.
It was supposed to be like a thing on the card, and it was just like it under-delivered severely to me. I mean, it didn't make a whole lot of sense in the first place, to be honest with you. So,
But you talking about the McAfee or the 6-man?
the 6-man.
Oh yeah, no, that was a whole lot of just bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, but like I said, I mean, you take Pat McAfee and The Miz off of this, and you put Pat McAfee on commentary, that bumps the score up too, because the commentary all night was average to bad. I mean, it was
It would have been. I mean, Graves did what Graves does. He's
I didn't hear a single call all night that stuck with me at all.
Me either.
He was very mad about McAfee.
Yeah, I mean, but that's a reaction. That's not a call. Like there was no line where the commentator said something, and I felt more about the match because of what the commentary team said.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
It's like you don't have to beat JR, but you have to make me feel something.
Yeah. Otherwise, what are you there for?
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's hard like to be a McAfee as well.
Yeah. What's you guys' thoughts for night 2? Any matches you're looking forward to?
Like I said, there's 3 for me. Bianca and Asuka, Finn and Edge, and Cody and Roman. But other than that, I'm good.
That your list too? Or you got more?
Yeah, I'm trying to run down the card. And
Lesnar and Omos, you looking forward to that?
That's your match of the night, right?
I'm morbidly curious on how that's going to... I admit I like me some big boys going at it, but that sounded dirty.
I'll go ahead and spoil that one for you. It's gonna be Lesnar trying to get the F5, but for some reason he can't get it, and then it's gonna be almost clumsily clubbing Lesnar in the back, maybe 1 or 2 clotheslines, and then Lesnar's gonna hit the F5 and he's gonna go home.
What if they put Omos over?
You don't think there's
Does
any
your
chance?
mind process that at all?
I can't even process that.
You don't think there's no chance?
I mean, this is WWE's. Anything could happen.
Omos goes over on Lesnar. Cody wins the title and then loses it on Monday Night Raw to Omos. like Monday, this Monday.
I mean, I did hear Vince was back.
That can only happen if you're playing like GM mode on the games and you just simulate all your match results.
Or if you're pencil mustache Vince.
Oh no!
More evil.
More evil.
Was that real?
Yeah, that was real. Yeah.
Oh no!
It looks like they dug up Walt Disney's corpse.
Right.
what? And he dyed his hair like unnaturally.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't say anything about like hating Jews, but I mean, whatever. Other than that, he looked like Walt Disney to me.
Yeah, that was. I was wondering if that was real or not.
Yeah,
That was kind of
it was
off-putting.
It was pictured with him, Triple H, and Great Muta, I believe, right?
Yeah.
I saw just a picture of just him, which is disturbing in itself.
But no, besides Omos and Lesnar, what are you looking forward to seeing?
Oh.
I wish I had put all the matches for tomorrow here, but I honestly don't know.
There's
the clusterfuck women's match.
You
just
stole
like
it from
everybody
my mouth,
else.
That match with Ronda and
Shayna
company.
Baszler and
Shayna Baszler, which is Ronda again.
I cannot wait to shit all over that with Stove tomorrow. Because we will.
I feel fortunate. I think we got the best day.
For sure.
Night 1 has been better almost every year that they've done 2 nights.
Yeah.
It does seem like a pattern.
Well, it's just like because at least when in the Vince era, he would put the shit that he thought was most important on night 2, and those are the matches that I want to see. So, that's kind of how it went.
I'm curious what they're going to do with Cody and Roman.
Me too. Yeah.
I think it's going to be obvious that Cody will get it, but it also could go the other way. And Roman wins again.
God. I was so mad last year when they just squashed Edge and Daniel Bryan.
Oh God, was that last year? I thought it was the year before.
It was last year, I think. Right?
Yeah. I can't keep. I think it was last year, but I can't.
It's all the terrible stuff just runs together.
Yeah, that was.
But I am excited for Edge and Finn, Hell in a Cell. I'm excited for the original Cell being back and not that red fucking nightmare thing.
Oh, they're bringing back the.
They're bringing the original. It's black.
I was going to say they're bringing back like the blue one.
No. This is the original Cell. It's like silver and black. Yeah.
Okay.
The OG
I'm
Hell in a Cell.
Seeing the demon, especially the Judgment Day demon. So I don't know if he's going to be purple and black demon.
I don't know. Yeah. But as long as that cell ain't red, because it was a nightmare to look at. It was just so grating on the eyes. Yeah.
I like the fact that Triple H has seemingly been trying to protect the demon, which is why Finn has been using it a lot less. Like they wanted to mean something special.
Yeah, I was kind of upset when I heard that the demon got squashed by Lesnar.
Oh yeah. Like
it's hard to consider booking that because it's like you don't want every feud that he's in to be like, oh, Finn Balor loses, and then for the big blow-off, he transforms into the demon who can't be beaten.
Right.
So it's like you have to just be really good at booking it. Like sometimes Finn's got to win without it, and then sometimes the demon does have to lose.
Yeah.
You just have to be very good about it. You have to be very careful with it.
Have you guys heard the rumors that for one night only they're bringing back the Brood?
I did hear that.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's going to be.
I did hear that. And
that would be amazing.
As long as Gangrel doesn't get in the ring because he's awful.
What pay-per-view was it that Edge used the Brood entrance? Was that
was it
last? It was a pay-per-view where he was against Rollins. Was it last year's SummerSlam? I popped so hard for that.
Yeah.
I lost my ever-loving shit. That is the greatest entrance in wrestling of all time. I don't care if you call me an edgelord.
Is that a pun?
No.
Well,
to me, the greatest entrance in wrestling is always going to be Starrcade 97 Sting.
The rafters?
No, he didn't come through the rafters. They did the whole laser show deal where the monologue kind of plays or whatever. If you haven't seen it, look it up. It's the best wrestling entrance.
I was 7 years old at the time, so I might have seen it, but I didn't get pay-per-views at that time.
Yeah, but that's an amazing one to me. That one has always really stuck with me. So, but Ray's interest tonight is going to go on the list for sure.
I've always been a fan of The Undertaker when they had the silhouette of the hands reaching up from the underworld.
The entrance where he's...
Yeah.
I love you, Taker.
Whereas one of the worst entrances of all time has got to be the Randy Orton
sperm.
Snake. Sperm,
the sperm entrance.
Yeah.
I think I blocked that out of my
mind. They had the video on the ramp, and it was chasing, he was walking with it. But it was supposed to be a viper, but it looked like a sperm.
It was
I
giant
think I
sperm.
vaguely remember that.
It
And
Was that recent?
It just was kind of
Maybe what 6-7 years ago.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's been a
so
while.
I might have not even seen that.
It was bad.
All right, guys. Well, I think that wraps this one up. I definitely want to thank both of you for joining me. Some things you can catch us on soon. I'm going to be coming back with my Mandalorian coverage sometime probably this coming up week. As a matter of fact, we're behind on it, so I'm probably going to wait for this week's episode to come out and then just kind of cover these last 3 episodes. I'm going to be, like I said, on Tavern Notice Board tomorrow. And we're going to be covering the D&D movie that we got to see earlier this week. And then next week, you and I are going to come back on the Superhero Homies with some comic news.
Yes.
So very much looking forward to that as well. Thanks for joining us, everybody, and definitely check back with us tomorrow for our Night 2 coverage. This has been an Involved Review. Thank you guys again. I'm not going to have my drink over now. Perfect way to end the show.